So all you have access to is the stairs. You want to get a good workout in? Well, you've come to the right place. I've got you sorted. So here's some really good ideas, but let's get warmed up first. So to start with, just make sure that if you're going to be using the stairs, it's likely going to be running up and down at some point. So do plenty of calf raises as I'm doing here. So up and down for about 15 reps, then do some thigh stretching over and back. And then I'm going to use a band. Band's going to come in a couple of times. It's one area I think a lot of people kind of leave out is just do some upper back pulling exercises. So really cheap to pick up, do a couple of rows on each side, and then we can start getting into some light runs up and down. So do about 5 rounds at the start with, so we can get really well warmed up into the next couple of exercises. Throughout this, we're trying to get a good balance between doing some lower body and upper body stuff, whereas I think a lot of the workouts that are suggested using the stairs are primarily just lower body dominant. So if we just hook in a band, I could bring in a mat and I'll do other exercises, but really didn't want to do that in this video. I just wanted to show you what you could do with really limited equipment. So here's again another great exercise for your core. This is a pull-off press. I'm going to do about 5 reps on each side. And again, you can mix and match the exercises I'm showing throughout this video, and all you need is somewhere to attach the band, which is fairly handy to find if you have access to a stairs. Then some little hops, like you're doing a box jump off 1 or 2 steps. And once you've done about 10 reps of those, you can get into some fast feet. So I've got 1 foot on, 1 foot off. All of this is really good for any sort of sports development as well, if you really need to learn how to develop power, but particularly helpful if you're really limited with equipment. Split squat now, so get rear foot up on the second step. Make sure you don't go too low on these, otherwise your back shin will touch that first step. So just make sure that you're out of the way of that. About 8 reps on each side. Again, on all these movements, do less reps if you feel that that's what's necessary. I would try and get a little bit of a circuit going of about 3 or 4 exercises done back to back for about 5 sets. Then take a short break, get some water, stretch, and move through the same circuit again. Another way of doing it, this is push-ups now, moving on to. Another way of doing it would be to pick, as I said, about 4 exercises, mixing some lower, some upper, some maybe running up and down the steps. And mix those up and then do like an AMRAP, like as many rounds as you can in 15 minutes. Here's some bounds up the steps. So again, I can do less or more depending on the amount of steps I have access to. So aim for 2 or 3 and you can kind of get the idea. Fast forward here, work your way back down, and again you can move through different movements as they go along. So that was our bounds. Next then we have a step up. So kind of like doing a step up, or it kind of looks like a mixture between a step up and a lunge, so about 2 or 3 at a time. From there then we're moving into like a handstand, which would be the equivalent of doing it on a box or a bench. I can start doing from side to side, shoulder taps. If I really have some handstand push-ups, I would do it pike position like that, and then up and down. I could of course do some of those against the wall beside the stairs here, but I'm again just showing you if you have access to, like, you know, a couple of steps. Here's a couple of things you can do. You can walk around the handstand. Other ideas, if you don't have handstands or that position, is to just put your feet up on 1 or 2 steps, move from side to side, trying to keep the hips up the whole time. This is called a rear elevated hip support position. Try to maybe taking one leg off is another option there as well. So these again are all just different ideas you can mix and match into a circuit of about, as I said, about 3, 4, maybe even 5 exercises done back to back. Here's some squats with a rotation. Of course, normal movements, like I could just stand there and do regular squats, or regular lunges, or lunges onto the first step. All of those will work, but I'm just trying to mix in some ideas you might not have done before. Now we're into just basic bounds up the step. So we're trying to take 2 or 3 at a time. So earlier I was doing the squat jumps up, now we're doing bounds up. So we're going 2 to 3 at a time. I've slowed it down just to show we're trying to be as bouncy as possible on these. So try and maintain the least amount of ground contact time as possible as you're doing these. Next one, we're going to do 1 step at a time. So again, just work on getting the knees up as much as you can. I'll speed it up now in a second so you can see what that looks like, but yeah, just take them 1 step at a time. So just make sure your entire workouts are not all full of just running up and down like this. You just get tired really quick. So just mix in some of that upper body, mix in some of the core, mix in some of those movements. Tell me how you get on. I've been doing these workouts with some clients now, and they really enjoy it.